Hello students, welcome to Btech360 and Career 360. Sometime back I've done a video, a detailed video of how the IIT Madras online BS degree, BS in Data Sciences degree was, how it's going to work out, what are the kind of success rates, what kind of students should take it, what kind of students should not take it, what kind of effort is required. And I made my own video with my own research and everything worked out well. But a lot of questions started coming in from students, and that's where I felt that the people who are involved in creating this degree, the people who exactly understand what this is all about, will actually respond to the students. So what I did was I picked up a lot of questions from you, right from the kind of work that's involved, the kind of students who must take it, the kind of students who will not take it, the kind of success rate or the failure rate, the kind of placements that happen in the system, whether you should be working or you can do it on your side, whether you should be student working in two universities, rather studying in two universities, this being an additional degree. All these were the questions that were coming from the students. And I thought the best people to answer that is people from IIT Madras themselves. So what I did was I reached out to IIT Madras and had the best people responding to the student queries that we had. And please listen into it. If you want to do a degree in BS Data Sciences, online degree in BS and Data Sciences, this is the interview that you must listen to, because it solves every single question that you have. It answers every single question that you have. It answers every single doubt, clarification that you needed. Because these are all questions that were given back to us from the student community itself, and I listed them out and asked all these questions to them. Please listen to it, understand this degree, and then take your own decision.
Dr. Vinesh, thank you so much. Dr. Karthik, thank you so much for joining in. The first thing is, I just want to understand the objective and the purpose for which the IIT Madras actually got into distance learning or online learning or whatever you call it. So, can you first tell us what is the purpose and objective vision behind this initiative of IIT Madras to get into a BS program and online mode and distance learning?
IIT Madras has a long history of actually working on outreach initiatives. Our Center for Continuing Education, which was started in the 1980s, did that in a different scale. It was done in a smaller scale at that point, where people were brought into campus and we were doing some training and so on. And we also played an important pioneering role in starting NPTEL by bringing together various IITs and IISc. And we started NPTEL, which was initially envisioned as a repository for IIT lectures, so that people can consume it and use it for learning. And then in 2014, we evolved into a program where we also give certifications through NPTEL. But one of the challenges which we have always debated, I think this debate happens in most IITs, and it is quite loud in IIT Madras, is the fact that we are an institute of national eminence, and a lot of people want to do this UG program from this institute because it carries a lot of pride. You get excellent training, and it becomes a stepping stone for people to launch their careers and for their entire life. But unfortunately, with the current system of JEE and having a campus program, we have limitations, right? So when you have to have a campus infrastructure, have classrooms and all hostels and all facilities, you can only admit a certain number of people. And that is not something which we can avoid. And for that, we have an extremely rigorous exam, which is basically, if you are good on that day, you have a much better chance of getting in than someone else. These two were challenges or limitations which had to be overcome. And we were thinking about various models, what could be done, and so on. And during that time, Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, who was the director of IIT Madras, kind of pushed the NPTEL team, and the NPTEL team came up with this idea of saying, okay, what if we can use our experience through NPTEL and offer a program which will have a large scale impact, right? The impact has to be both for a large number of people and also people from all strata of the society. So we had to figure out a model in which we can reach a larger audience and also offer it at a low cost model, right? So based on that, it was decided that online is the way to go, and our experience with NPTEL helped. So we decided that we will do this as an online content delivery, but we wanted to make sure that the student who graduates from this program has all the skills and knowledge of a student who would have graduated from a campus program. So for that, we made sure that the assessments were in person and rigorous. Right. So only when you achieve something hard, you actually feel a sense of accomplishment. If everything is just handed to you, there is nothing, no sense of accomplishment in it. So we wanted to make sure that the students who graduate carry that sense of accomplishment and actually go on to do great things in life. So with that in mind, the program was very carefully structured. But we also wanted to reach the tier 2, tier 3 towns and students who have weaker economics background and so on. So we said we will do a pay as you go model, right? So instead of saying you pay upfront, so we said you register for courses, you pay only for that. And we also wanted to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to flavor what an IIT education is and then decide whether it is for them.
How different would it be? Like, because you very interestingly said that you wanted the alumni tag of IIT Madras to be given to people who actually, work for that and accomplish that. So from that perspective, how different would be the quality of a student who's coming from the online mode vis-a-vis the classroom thing that you already have?
So, see, quality of training and based on what was taught, we can say it will be comparable. See, I can't just talk about quality of a student because that brings in various things. So, if I'm going to talk about how the content is delivered, how we make sure that the students learn, and how we test them to know whether they have acquired the skills. So, that part we ensure that it is on par with the campus degree. So, that is why the IIT Madras Senate has agreed and has approved that this program will not be deemed as an online degree or a distance degree in any of the documents, right? So whether it is a certificate, the degree certificate which is issued, or a diploma certificate, or the transcript, or any letters we give, everywhere we just say it is a BS in Data Science and Applications. We do not mention online degree, and that is because we believe it is on par with whatever program is done here. Just that the admission process is different.
That's a very important thing that you said just now, sir, because that's so crucial for the student community, because there is always this, casteism to do with online versus offline, right? And I'm so glad that you said that, because I think that's very important for students also. Now, sir, when you deal with this entire thing, first of all, can you tell me what are the programs being offered? It's not just data science. Now you also have a few other things also. Can you also talk about that?
Yeah. So the Data Science and Applications was the first program which was started. It was launched in 2020. First batch joined in January of 2021. After that, we all started the BS in Electronic Systems. So again, data science was started because it has a large reach, large need, and so on. But electronic systems is a strategic need of the country. So where you need more people who have these skills. So with that in mind, IIT Madras launched that program. So that program was a big adventure for us because there you needed hands-on labs. Right? Unlike data science where everything could be done on a laptop, so here you needed people to actually work on electronic kits and actually perform lab, which we can evaluate and so on. So that brought in a different element of challenge. So we now have lab sessions which are done for these students who are in the electronic systems program at IIT Madras campus. That was the first thing which we launched in 2023. And then this year we have launched two more programs. So one thing which we saw within the data science domain was there was a fraction of students, a significant fraction of students who come from management or like commerce background, or they are more interested in finance and economics and so on, and not really that keen on doing hardcore data structures and algorithms and things like that. So we needed to figure out if we can give something which helps them pursue that passion. So with that in mind, the Department of Management Studies came up with the proposal of blending management and data science to make sure that there can be data-driven decision making and leaders who come with that training. So the program was launched this year. So the first batch of applications just got over sometime last week, and we are hoping more people will be joining that program as well, because that has a huge need, right? So you have every place, every company would require people who understand finances and can make data-driven decisions, right, rather than just make gut feeling decisions. So that was one thing which was started this year. And the other program again was of a strategic interest for the nation, which is the aeronautics and space technology. So this again will be similar to what the electronic systems program was, and where you will have a lab session and so on. So where we will be doing all that. And here you will be trained in the basics of aeronautics and space technology. So it will take you beyond just hobby flying, right? So instead of just fiddling around with drones, how do you do actual aeronautics and understand the aerodynamics, flight mechanics, and various things so that you can actually build an aircraft which flies day in and day out. So that's the idea with which this program has been designed. So the aeronautics program also has a very interesting feature, which is not fully enabled in the other features, where students who complete the diploma level can actually transition to a campus program. So where the last 2 years or the degree level of the program can be pursued as an on-campus degree. Again, it will be a BS degree. It will not be a Btech. It will still be a BS in aeronautics and space technology. But they can transition. But obviously, numbers will be limited and so on, right?
I can tell you that long back, IGNOU was stopped from giving anything on aeroscience and aeronautics on a distance learning board. Any comments on that?
We are confident that we will be able to offer it in a blended fashion, which gives them the right training. So that's why, see, as you said, maybe the labs and other components might be very critical. So that's why it is integrated into this on-campus option as well for some of the top students.
Sir, you earlier used two words, significant and fraction. These are two words you used. What kind of students typically, because you are now not just talking about the PCM students, but even someone who took commerce and those kind of things, those are the words that you use. So in terms of the student profile, would you mind telling me the kind of profile of students who are coming in from the education background or any other background?
We have a very diverse pool. Some of the data is available on our website, so we can you can go through them and share and see. But we see that about 70% are probably from engineering science background, and the other 30% come from other backgrounds. But and as far as the male female ratio, it's roughly the same, around 70 to 75 percent males and 25 to 30% females. But the interesting number, which we are very happy to note, is the number of people who come from financially backward situations. So about 15% are from family income between 1 lakh and 5 lakhs, and another 25% come from family income less than 1 lakh. So 40% of the students in the program have 1 lakh per annum. Yeah, just clear. It is 1 lakh per family income of 1 lakh per annum. So about 40% or slightly more than 40% actually come from family income less than 5 lakhs per annum. And these students are doing quite well, and we get CSR support, and we have been able to support the fees as well. So because we give a strong fee rebate for people who have less than 5 lakh family income, we do a fee rebate of about 50%, a fee support of 50% from IIT Madras. And then for people with family income less than 1 lakh per annum, IIT Madras provides a fee support of 75%. So this is purely based on their financial status. This does not require it's not a merit come means, it's purely a means based support.
Sir, one of the things that is an impression for people like me is that it's too difficult for a course to complete, right?
Yeah.
That's been my understanding. And I'm happy to be stand corrected on this thing. So would you mind telling the students of what it takes for a student to complete the course at a foundation level, at a diploma level, at a degree level, and at a PS level?
So I think that's the important point, which level they have to complete, right? So if you're talking about the entire degree, then if you look at the numbers, then that might seem a little skewed. But I think students who come in need to understand that each level adds a certain amount of value to your profile, right? So any student who comes in and completes the foundation level will have good understanding of Python programming, and they will have strong fundamentals in math and statistics. These things can help them pick up data science from other places as well, if they choose to. Right. So anyone who completes this will actually be quite qualified to get into most entry level software jobs, right? So that is what seems to happen. So we have seen this even in the early days of the program, where a lot of students used to say they were pursuing their BE or BTech from some engineering college, and just the foundation from our program was a combination which really helped them get placed, right? So it's a value add in that case. See, if you're doing this along with another degree, right? So if you're doing it as a, I'm talking primarily only about college going kids. So obviously working professionals doing it have different motivations. I'll not go into that segment. That's also a group which works with us. About 20% of students are employed professionals, but I'm focusing primarily on college going students. So for college going students, this as an add-on is a huge value. So for as far as completing the foundation level, it's only 8 courses. There are 2 courses on English, 2 courses on math, 2 courses on statistics, and 2 courses related to programming. One called computational thinking, and the other is Python programming. So you can actually do maybe 2 courses a term and complete it in about 1.5 years. And the time you would have to spend is about 10 hours per course per week. Put in those 10 hours a week for each course. I think completion of the foundation level is doable. It is amongst the people who join the program, about 50 to 60% of them complete foundation level without much difficulty.
You have the application and enrollment, and then foundation. So there is a
So
application to enrollment also. What is that?
So application is basically everybody who applies, and then you have to qualify to get in. So it is not. Again, this is something which is different from many other online or open programs, right? So where there is no filtering or there is no entrance process at all, right? So here there is a qualifying process. So what we do is students basically after they apply, we train them. So we train them on 4 subjects for 4 weeks, and based on what we have taught, we conduct an exam. And if you can score 50% or above in each of these courses, you are now admitted into the foundation level of the program, and you can enroll for courses.
And there about 70% drop off.
So here, yes, only about 30% qualify here. So what happens is many a times people apply, and then there are weekly assignments for each of the courses, and then they either get busy with something else or they don't find this to be what they wanted. And if you look at the number of people who actually submit 2 assignments, that is a smaller fraction, right? So then let's say 100 people apply, I would say only 70 will even submit 2 assignments, and you have to submit 2 assignments to become eligible for the qualifier, right? And then so you say amongst the people who appear for the qualifier, about 50% pass. So that is the number, and from there, once you are qualified, then you decide whether you join, and almost 80-85% of the students join after qualifying, and about 50% of the people who join the foundation level complete. And amongst the people who don't complete, you would see 50% complete, another 25% don't even complete a course, in the sense that they don't even complete a single paper. They don't, so which means they might have tried it once and then given up and so on, right? So those, if you because the denominator is very large, if you just do fractions, you have to kind of include all these, and unless we try and understand the breakup of all of this, it's not very clear as to how many people who are actually motivated and putting in the effort are passing. So if what I would say is, if you are motivated and you are willing to put in the 10 hours of effort per week per course, your chance of completing the foundation level will be as high as 75 to 80%. But I would still not say 100%.
But do you think that there's a misconception again amongst people like me that only exceptionally talented students can actually make it through the program?
See, I would say exceptionally motivated and dedicated students can go through the program. See, you don't need to be intrinsically smart to go through the program, because the program is designed to kind of ramp up the difficulty, right? So it's not like on day one you are put in some impossibly hard course and uh, your motivation gets killed, right? That's not how we do it. It ramps up very nicely over a period of time. So by the time you complete the foundation level, we believe you are ready to take on the diploma level courses. And diploma level courses, again, students can focus on one of the diplomas. Like if you're talking about the data science program, there are two possible diplomas and each of them have 6 courses and 2 projects. So you can plan and do maybe 1 or 2 courses a term. And we don't even force students to do more than that. We recommend doing not more than 3. Right? So while we allow up to 4 for students who are like super smart. But most people we recommend do 2 or 3, and even 1 if you want to take it at a slower pace.
Sir, the question is about see, a lot of concentrations that I go through, sir. The issue that comes up is a lot of students say, "Sir, I've not got into a good NIT, GFT, and all, so I will do IIT Madras BS." Right, and that bothers me to a certain extent because for me, when I look at the child and when I interact with them slightly more, because I do interact for half an hour whenever these kind of questions come, I do think that parents don't understand that. They think it's an IIT Madras, the child is joining IIT Madras. For me, I'm very clearly looking at the student just escaping this entire rigmarole of saying, listen, I'm getting to IIT Madras, don't worry about anything else. So how do you, tell a child or a student of, I understand the gap year and all, ma'am. In fact, when Professor Vignesh talked of how coaching also is a cost at some point in time, I did have a problem because I do have a problem over certain things. Honestly, I do think that, a student should be able to crack a JEE examination without coaching. So how did we come to a stage where 12 years of education is worthless and 3 hours of examination is worth more? So I do have certain questions, but I'll deal with that separately. At this point in time, sir, what is your advice to a student or a parent, more importantly, of how relevant and good is an IIT Madras BS degree as a pathway for a student who's not getting into tier 1 colleges?
See, if you're not getting into it and you're just using this as a route of escape, that I don't think is a good idea. See, you can choose this on for if you have two motivations, right? Either you understand that this is an area which I like and I'm reasonably good at, and I want to improve my skills, and I know that there are job opportunities there, and I will work on it and make sure that I do well in this program. So I can try and do that. But just to kind of convince your parents that I am in an IIT and then you just while your time away or like do different things, not really focus on the program. I know there is a group of students who do that, and that is unfortunate. I don't think that is a good idea because this program can become very unforgiving if you kind of let go of things. If you don't keep up, the program is very unforgiving because see, the program is an inverted model, right? So it's a funnel system where you are admitting a very large group of people, and each level you have to clear to go to the next level.
No, I also do, when I talk to students also, I tell them, listen, unfortunately in India, a distance learning program has been sold as a degree mill. And you are exact the opposite of that. You're making sure that a student who's studying and getting a certificate from here or a degree from here has some kind of a value, and that value is there out there in the market because you have actually gone through a stress test to actually come through that whole thing, right? So I'm glad you said that because unfortunately, as I said, online and distance learning in India has been sold at least as a degree mill in a certain sense. So that is where the comparison comes in because people think that when they get in, they get out, which is not the case. You get in only, but you can't get out, is what the university said. Other question that I have about the placement process. Can you tell us about the value that at each stage that it gets to the student, which actually is valued by the employer also at some point?
Okay. So, see, as I said, the foundation level gives you basic skills with Python programming. So, an entry level software professional jobs will open up if you have completed the foundation level along with another college degree, like whatever the degree might be. Right? So, that is the first level. And then, if you go to the diploma level, there are 2 diplomas. There is a diploma in programming and a diploma in data science. The diploma in programming gives you complete application development training, front end, back end. Like you become a proper full stack developer. So a lot of students who complete the diploma with us and are not pursuing another degree, right? At the end of the diploma, they start getting internships. So we help them, we support them in getting internships, and we get reasonable numbers, maybe 60 to 80 internships a month we are able to get for these people. And they all join and at different pay scales, right? So I don't really want to discuss the actual stipends they get, but it's reasonable. So that is at the end of one diploma. This internship is an opportunity for many people, which opens doors for corporate careers. And then there is the diploma in data science, which has two projects. So you have to do a machine learning project, which is a Kaggle contest, and you actually learn a lot of models which you use, and you fiddle around with the data to see how the machine learning algorithms are used and so on. So you get the hands-on training on that. Again, you can start off as an intern if you have completed the diploma in data science as well. And so once you complete both these diplomas, then you are at the degree level. So degree level is where you do all the advanced courses, where you start doing more in-depth courses, where you try to understand a lot more and so on. So for the full placement support, we expect the students to have reached their degree level. So they should be closer to the final year of the program per se, right? So they should be close to completion of the program. Obviously, the employers also are looking for people who can take up full-time positions. So there was recently a student had informed us who pursued this as a standalone degree, has joined Amazon and with a very, very attractive salary. Right. So and this person actually did not have any other degree, had this as a sole degree, and has been able to achieve this. And last year we had people who had this as the sole degree, excel in GATE, and join top institutes like IISc and other IITs and so on.
The advantage that our students who pursue this degree as the only degree after standard 12 and say they are doing well, progressing in the program, the advantage is that companies get them on a full-time basis with them as an intern because the classes are all online that they can study at their convenience and also attend the live sessions and assignments at their convenience. So which means that unlike a physical college that has a restriction of in summer I can give you for 1 month or 2 months and in winter maybe not at all or whatever, here the students after their 1 or 2 diplomas can actually do a full-time internship with a company right across from there after one diploma or so.
What kind of companies come for placement?
So a lot of software companies and consultancy type companies, many such companies are coming. The detailed information is available on our website. But see, what we see is more than which companies are coming. The interesting thing is the companies which come back again. Right? So that I think is a testament to the quality of students that are going out. So we have always found that the companies are very happy with the students who they hire as interns.
Yeah, but last year overall we had more than 250 companies that had actually come for our placements. And most of them did take our students, and some of them are even large numbers of 10, 15. We had batches of students going out. In fact, now we have lineup of companies that say every term, give me the day one of that term, give me the list of students graduating, because we graduate 3 times a year, unlike a physical college again. So they are like ready to take students from us as they graduate and they're coming back. So one of the comments which we get very nicely is that our students get onboarded very quickly. That in fact, it's very nice to see that many of our freshers from 2 years ago are now leads. And under them again, they have BS students coming in, and we have heard of companies where there are full teams of BS students going on and actually being a part of the thing. So,
Bharti ma'am, last time when we spoke, there was this conversation that you had where you talked of how you purge the list of people who are not able to clear a certain thing at a certain level. Would you mind elaborating on that, please?
So I don't know if we want to call it purge, but what we want to make sure is we want to have targets for the students, right? So when we give the idea of giving this program online was also to improve flexibility. So you can pursue another degree or you can be working and so on. But when we gave absolute freedom, it was absolute chaos. So there had to be some structure for the students, especially for the younger kids. So we said that, okay, you have to show me that you are motivated to stay in the program and meet certain milestones. These milestones are quite relaxed. It's not like insanely hard to achieve them, but it does set a certain milestone for you to aspire to. And then similarly, at diploma level, we have milestones. So the first warning is at end of 3 terms. We say 3 terms you should have completed 3 courses and a project. So here what we do is, what we have observed is a lot of students are capable of doing courses, but they don't do the projects because projects require hands-on skills. It takes time. They don't put in the practice which is required for doing the project. and they keep postponing. So we said, okay, you do courses and you make sure you demonstrate the skill that you have gained from these courses as well through the project. So you have to meet that. So every year you have to be completing about 3 courses and a project, which means you do only 1 course a term. So that would require you to spend about 10 to 15 hours a week every term for you to meet the milestone. So the milestone is reasonably relaxed, but at the same time, it gives you a clear cutoff saying that, okay, if you're not even able to do this, then this program is not for you.
Is there anything else that you would want to inform the student which I did not ask till now, Professor Vignesh?
Okay, in this program, you are basically admitted just by submitting your application form. You are admitted to the program for 1 month. Right? So you get to sit and understand how this program will operate. So imagine doing this in a physical college. You just go and say, okay, first month of classes I will attend. At the end of first month, I will decide whether I like this course, this program or not. That's not an option which is available, right? So here you have that option. Just by submitting this application form, you get an opportunity to learn from IIT for a month and decide whether this program from IIT Madras is for you or not. And so there should be, in my opinion, there should be no inhibition to apply, just so that you flavor that. And then you, after flavoring that, you decide this is not for me. That's completely fine. But that is an educated decision after, that's an informed decision, right? Instead of just doing a guesswork. If I am a parent of a kid who's graduating class 12, I will definitely want them to go through this just to see that whether this is something my kid would like or not. And if I were a student, I would also feel like, okay, let me try this and then choose to continue.